Aloha. I wanted to do a video and expand off the last video and go into more of the questions of how and why this program exists. This separation program, the supremacy program, the colonial program, how it exists, so we can understand more of why and inherently understand more of ourselves from an energetic perspective. Energetically, how does this exist energetically? We can understand that the differences that we have are of a divine nature. There is a divinity in our diversity. The reasons why the oneness program exists, the New Age agenda, understanding that nothing is new, especially the spiritual connections to the Most High and the natural plane, nothing is new. So the inherent observation of the New Age agenda is of a farce perspective. This is ridiculous. So to understand more of ourselves through an energetic perspective, I wanted to share how I see our relationships with nature in relation to this normalization program we're calling this Greco-Roman civilization, which is actually a separation program. Because in order to have a superiority complex, which is the supremacy program, you have to have a system or a program that exists to maintain why other people are not of the same level of energy than you are. But in fact, that only exists in the illusion. And when you really look into the reality of existence, you will see that in fact there is a harmonics in a relationship that the black and brown peoples have to the earth plane that the so-called white people do not have. And it's not seen or celebrated as a thing of superiority. It's a balance that exists with the black and brown people's relationship to the natural earth plane that so-called white people do not have. There's no judgment here. This is just an observation. I'm going to give you proof of this observation in a second. But to set up that proof, I want to review from where I'm coming from the energetic perspective. When you grow wise through time, just from a perspective of one reality, from a child to an elder, you are raising your vibration. Each thought is an actual ascension. Each decision, each choice that you make, each move that you make, that is more of a vibration of the soul essence and less of a vibration of the materialistic realm. Like having a relationship. Having a relationship based upon titties and ass, or having a relationship based upon the egoic version of reality, the materialistic version of reality, will produce energetic relationships, produce openings, produce disconnects that are reflective of that choice that you made. Just as the opposite is, if you choose a relationship based upon the soul essence, the true essence of your connection, your vibrations, that is of an uplifting, higher vibration, then you will reflect that. That will be of a higher vibration on both the individuals and the relationship and the collective human consciousness. The means to control the masses is by downgrading, de-evolving the consciousness of the body and the mind by separating it from the soul. This is why you have the religious program in order to throw it under the bus. So the people who get thrown under with the bus, they just get thrown out because they just fell for the illusion. And also you can bring something up once you throw that under the bus, because now you created a gap. Now you have to fill that gap. So also you have a group of people who run away from that program, and they create their own relationships to their reality or their connections to the Most High Spirit or whatever it is. They fill that gap. This is what the New Age agenda, New Age community is. So the religious program is being thrown under the bus by the university system, the atheist program, in order to throw under the bus the entire Most High connection, period. That entire energy to further lock people, masses, individuals into the worshiping of the materialistic version of reality, where the individuals who have maintained their superiority programming as existing only in the body complex, only in the illusion of mastering the separation program, dumbing down the mind with mind control and separating you from the natural vibrations, the natural connections, the natural understandings, understandings, and overstandings of the human consciousness, reality as a whole, and locking you into the materialistic version of reality. To the umpteenth degree, you are locked into it by the monkey mind mentality, by your very human resources being locked into the fiat currency system. You can't even survive in this physical plane, in the body, without having money. That exists, that's an alchemy. That exists on the spiritual plane. If we don't see that and connect that and understand that everything first exists on the soul, then to the body, then to the mind, from the soul to the mind, then to the body. So everything that manifests into the body experience, the materialistic version of reality, first had to manifest into the soul, then into the mind, then into the body. So if that exists, everything that exists here in the separation program also exists in the mind, also exists on the soul level. So if you have a separation program, a supremacy program, a eugenics program, an enslavement program based upon the separating, the dividing and conquering not only the races of people, but the balances of the masculine and the feminine, with the LGBT, and the gay agenda, locking everybody into a separation mode, locking everybody into a misunderstanding of the essence of the dualistic programming, the dualistic program as a whole. If you are locked into that, the separation of the understanding of that program, then you are now open to have a program installed. And this is what the separation program is. There's a difference between the duality program and the separation program. Duality is the balances within the physical reality, the masculine and the feminine, the electric and the magnetic, the light and the dark, the hot and the cold. That is an essence that exists on the body, the mind, and the soul level, with a divine purpose, which we experience in this body experience, this human body experience. The separation program exists by the manipulation of those harmonics to tell a different story, to make it more complex, to create haves and have-nots. This is why you have the gay agenda. This is why you have the New Age agenda, the alien agenda, the New World Order agenda, the New Age agenda. All these agendas, the disclosure program, all this stuff to maintain a further separation for you understanding your reality. Why would you need disclosure if you have truth already? It's already in your genetic makeup. It's already in your reality. Disclosure, the disclosure program only exists in order to maintain the power, the so-called illusory power of the separation program itself, to build itself up and to build you down. So from an energetic perspective, we are in the visible light spectrum, 0.005% of reality. The ultraviolet reality, you can see infrared and radio waves on a lower vibration. These you can see increasing energy on the very top arrow going to the left. That's an increase of energy. So you will see that the energies from radio waves to the infrared, to ultraviolet, to X-rays, to gamma rays, that is an increase of energy. You can also understand that the human consciousness has morals, has ethics, has laws that it abides by on the soul level. That could be understood as an intellectual energy that first exists on the soul level, then to that mind, then to that human mind. So the animal kingdom could be seen as in like the radio waves vibration. It's just a lower vibration, just energetically speaking. The animalistic behavior that gets programmed by your social media, by your monkey evolution program, by your movies and your military industrial complex and prison industrial complex, that has a meaning. It has a purpose. It means to lower your vibration, to lower your energy, so you can open yourself up to lower entities and also not exist on your soul purpose, not exist on a higher vibration. Because if you are existing on a lower vibration, you can be controlled. So the supremacy program exists largely by lowering your vibration and amplifying the illusion of its vibration by the fiat currency system, by the maritime admiralty system, by the supremacy program and the eugenics program, by the globe model and the university system, by creating all these accents and these ideas that you believe not only that people are superior to you, but that you are just nothing, pretty much. So I wanted to give an example of the differences, obvious energetic differences between the races. Just differences right now to understand, give more of an example of why things are the way they are. Because at the essence of these differences, it's not of a superior reasoning. Because with our differences, there's a purpose. We are understanding those purposes through time. So just as you can understand that there's no superior differences between the masculine and the feminine, but in the patriarchal program, you have to beat down the matriarchal, the feminine essence in order to build up the masculine essence. So they create that divide in the sexes. The same thing happens to races in reference to the easiest way is to, when you want to maintain the power of a smaller group of people, is through the supremacy program, as it is that I was sharing information on in the last video about, in order to maintain a divide. So, why is my question? Why? Because we can see how it exists, but why does it exist? You can go into understanding the information of white genetic annihilation with the fact of with looking into Dr. Francis Cress Welsing's information on your own. I'm gonna speak about it for a second, but basically, you can already understand that when a white man has babies with a black woman, or a black man has babies with a white woman, you will have brown or black babies. That's a fact. There's a reason why that exists. So that's an existing thing in the genetics. That exists in the genetics. So if it exists in the body, then that means that it exists somewhere in the mind before that, and somewhere in the soul before that. Before it can manifest into the genes of the body, it has to have a meaning and a purpose to exist in the mind and the soul from the spirit first. My question is why? Part of that answer is the balances that we are currently trying to understand as we know more and find more about ourselves. But there's a reason and a purpose there that goes back to energy and the separation from the Most High Spirit by choice, and the amplification of the materialistic version of reality. The materialistic version of reality is what is being worshipped today. It is the God of today. Money, ego, the idol worship, the demigods. The materialistic version of reality, is in itself, in its essence, a separation program. As you can understand, the soul is having an experience in the body. Your body has a seeming separation between somebody else's body. Then you start to realize that there is no separation and all that other stuff. That's when you start to realize the spirit within all. But for illusion purposes, to have an experience, your body is separate from another body. Your soul in your body has a difference between the soul and another body. That in itself is a separation from the Most High Spirit. Just as when you go to sleep, you have dreams. Your subconscious reality is more reflective of that infinite space to experience, which is a direct relationship to that Most High energy. You're not choosing. It's a different kind of reality, a different vibration. It exists on the higher energies. The solidification of your body, your light body, is the physical body. So that solidification has its ups and its downs. On a soul level, the choice that is made to have whatever, the idea of dominion in this reality at this time frame, has its downs. In the duality program, this meaning, this purpose, outside of judgment, outside of all this other stuff, this is just looking at the facts. There is a relationship that the black and brown people have with the natural design of this earth plane that so-called white people do not have. Why is my question. Just as I asked why about the genetics that exists. See, the emotional body is the shield from answering these questions, which is a manifestation of the supremacy program and the separation program that is natural to this normalization, civilization that came down from the Greco-Roman civilization, which was the foundation of the separation program. Not the duality program. There's a difference there. The duality is the understanding of the harmonics, the electric and the magnetic, the alchemy of reality. The separation program is that which is the illusion celebrated. See, there's a reason here why they can have babies, but their babies will be black and brown. Why? Not to be saying superior or better or whatever. Just to observe that it exists. Just as there's a relationship the black and brown peoples have with this experience and the sun, which some people understand as the Son of God. It provides all this life and all this energy for you to live. It is a direct reflection of the energy of this reality. So, why does this happen to some people and not other people? Energetically, there is a reason why, which I haven't completely understood, but I can tell you that there is a difference between a vibration that exists between this materialistic version of reality that is worshipped today and the golden ages and the harmonics that the indigenous people and the aboriginal people were living and existing as before this illusion of separation started to take place. And yes, it does have to do with race in some kind of way. Obviously, there's a balance. Obviously, there's a relationship. Obviously, that some people have with nature that is not necessarily universal. So the normalization program was installed in the Greco-Roman era in order to create the facade, the illusion of superiority, of supremacy. This is why you have the accents out there and the crown of England. This is the essence of the colonization program. Why does this exist? Because they won't tell you. See, outwardly, the supremacy program is celebrated in order to create the illusion that the victimization program has utilized in the past and is being pumped out into this moment right now. To where a person like me or another black or brown person walks down the street and you're automatically the bad guy. You're automatically on some kind of list. People, however small it is, it exists. It has a purpose. It has a meaning. My question is why? When we have a relationship with nature that is of the sweetest essence, just because we are who we are looked at a certain way. How I'm seeing it is because there has been a locking into this materialistic realm that has been done by choice by the so-called white people that wasn't necessarily chosen by everybody else. And since that choice was made, there's been side effects to those choices. And this is how I'm seeing the so-called Adam and Eve story now. That's not about humanity. That was about something else. That's not universal. It's about this realm. It's about the manifestation of the destructive intelligence, the separation intelligence in this realm to make itself out to be God. The illusion of God at the expense of others through other manifestations, soul manifestations of the Most High Essence energy, praising them as God through illusion. So when you worship the materialistic realm through the Barbie mentality, through the worshiping of the supremacy program, there's a purpose and a meaning here. You're creating hate for yourself when you try to be like something other than yourself. Hate is an energy. It is a low vibration. Separation is an energy. It's of a low vibration. Animalistic behavior is an energy of a low vibration. Sickness and disease manifest into your reality because you are at a lower vibration. The root chakra, the disconnection from your natural experience. The sacral chakra, the disconnection from your actual sexual, your divinely sexual relationships. Sucking that into a physical reality, a worshiping of only titties and ass and just these generic versions of relationships. Sucking your willpower down, your fire down to yourself, your solar plexus, into the egoic version of reality known as the American dream and the fiat currency system, the maritime admiralty system. This is all lower vibrations. In order to make yourself out to be God within a kingdom of gods, you have to lower the vibrations of the masses. This is what this separation program is based upon. It is natural to maintain the golden essence of that energy that is outside of the visible light spectrum known as the ultraviolet spectrum naturally in the peoples. Naturally, that relationship, that bridge between the visible light spectrum and that next energetic reality. So if you can see that there is an earth plane in the visible light spectrum, and then I can also say right now that there is also an earth plane in the ultraviolet vibration. And maybe that's what this place is. Maybe we are actually experiencing an ultraviolet earth plane experience and have been manipulated down into the visible light spectrum reality in order to be de-evolved even further down into the animalistic behaviors. Because this entire system is based upon de-evolving the peoples in order to maintain a monarchy, a king and queen mentality, the haves and the have-nots. You don't have black and brown people walking around. Well, there are now because they haven't had any pride in ourselves at that period. We've been beat down and enslaved for so long. You're going to have people who are going to be like, black, I'm black in this, I'm black in that. But overall, the essence of black and brown people is not about I'm black and I'm brown and I'm better than you. It's just something that's natural. The opposite is not the case, though. The opposite of this, obviously, with the supremacy program, is to tell you that you're black and you're brown and you're a fucking piece of shit. That last video I did is an obvious example of that. That exists energetically and has a purpose in the intellect and in the soul level. Obviously on the body, when they can just burn people and lynch people, cut people, dismember people's bodies, stick their heads on sticks, scalp people for money. There's a purpose there. There's an energetic purpose why and you're de-evolved the way you are de-evolved. Because there's rules and regulations in this place that exist not only on the body level but on the intellectual, the mind, and the soul level. And those who will never, ever sell sold out, sell out their bodies, their mind, their soul experience to the separation program. We will never separate ourselves from our soul essence. Are maintaining that bridge, that anchor for other people to continue that reality that is of the essence of the Most High energy manifested into our soul group. Those who have only worshipped themselves in the material, the illusion of themselves in the materialistic realm, can only maintain the superiority, the supremacy program, if they bring the people down while bringing themselves up. That's what the Barbie mentality is. That's what Hollywood is, the mainstream media, the politics, the university system, the globe model. It's to bring you down, to separate you, and to bring itself up. The other side of that is to destroy you and destroy your relationship to nature, to make you sick and diseased, to make you part of the separation program. And if you're not a part of it, then you're an outsider and something's wrong with you. And in fact, you're a monkey. You're a disgrace. You're a primitive. You're a savage. You're not engaged. You don't have a Facebook. You don't have a smartphone. What the fuck is wrong with you? Something is wrong with you. You are not an evolved being. The problem with that is that you are evolving yourself in a de-evolution program. This is what the transhumanism program is. This is what all of the separation programming is about. It's about making you believe in an illusion. Just as you believe as the body is who you are, and the mind and the soul is something secondary. Worshipping of the materialistic realm. This is why religion was thrown under the bus. Like I said before, people get locked into that. But everything else inherently gets thrown away too. As long as you're sick and diseased, trapped. Building you down, building itself up. On a regular basis. This is the essence of the mainstream media, the essence of the university system, the essence of your so-called British monarchy, the essence of the colonial program. The only way these people can be understood as gods is if you are an animal. This is why you're convinced that you are of a monkey evolution program. So they can install technology into your body, into your world. And you'll accept it because you believe you're a monkey. And as long as you believe you're a monkey, then those vibrating on this level, this energetic whatever, that are on the successful human space, can profit off of your ignorance. This is why all of these giant lies have to be manifested into your reality. The globe model, the evolution program, the NASA program, the fiat currency system, ciphering of the energy. This is all energy. On purpose. The supremacy program can only exist to make itself out to be the good guy if you are the bad guy. Columbus did this with Christianity and Catholicism when he showed up with a book, and you had the native peoples and the Aboriginal people had their own relationship to spirit here already. But when you are called savage and primitive, and then poisoned with sickness and disease, then that program continues over time, and you create the illusion of superiority. And the only thing you have to do is continue that program. Continue expanding that program. So it went from Christianity and the Bible and calling you to bring itself up and calling you savages and primitive to bringing you down, to the university system and the globe model and the mainstream media to both simultaneously bring itself up and to bring you down. And you have these lackeys who are out there protecting the haves and the have-not systems because they themselves have sold out. They have sold out to the materialistic version of reality to separate themselves. This is why the university system is based upon atheism. This is why Barack Obama and Neil deGrasse Tyson, so-called black people, are in your face to make you believe that this exists. I just saw the movie Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. You think any black or brown peculiar children in there? Not a fucking chance. But guess who was the bad guy? Samuel Jackson. Of course. Why? Subconsciously, your babies are eating this shit up and hating themselves and seeing that there's something wrong with them because they're not peculiar. They don't even have a fucking chance. In fact, the only person they can relate to is Samuel L. Jackson, who he himself, yes, he's peculiar, but he's a fucking bad guy. Just like all the other people on television getting shot and so on and so forth. They're bad guys. Energy. This is energy. And it has a meaning. There's a meaning why all these movies are about keeping people down and raising people up. There's a reason why the energies, that just like the artifacts in ancient Egypt, were stolen. There's a reason why that information was hidden. And why all these stories won't be told to you. To create the good guy and bad guy mentality. To create your saviors. These gods of Egypt, that ain't nothing but Jesus and the Bible. The savior mentality. Superman, Batman, Thor, Captain America, the American dream, the new world, the United States and the American dream is just the savior for the earth plane. It's just the Jesus for the earth plane. And it's only that way because it's built itself up with illusion. So if it exists in the individual, they can expand that to the international and then expand it to the universal. This is what the university system is. This is why they're expanding this next space, this new age agenda, out into the stars, so-called stars, and the alien agenda, the transhumanism, constantly bringing themselves up and bringing the story up and bringing you down and bringing your story down. This is why your monuments are destroyed, and they put movies with themselves in there. And they put people who will sell out to make them people continually hate themselves and poison themselves. You got Oprah out there selling out everything and also simultaneously selling in the new age agenda. Genetically modified foods in your baby food. Selling the new age agenda, which is genetically modified spiritual connection to the Most High. It's a substitute version of energy, locking you in. History Channel, tied directly into the ancient alien agenda, tied directly into the disclosure agenda. These people get in your face and tell you what the story is, why it is. Preaching science fiction as if it's factual. Like I said earlier, you don't need disclosure if you have truth. The only reason why disclosure exists, the only reason why the secret space program exists, is the same reason why they have secret technology. And everything in the government is secret to maintain power, to maintain the illusion of power, to maintain energy, to maintain dominion over people. and simultaneously install a program, the next agenda program. So they'll tell you, we're going to do a disclosure, and it'll be about your energetic ascension, and we're going to talk about the bad guys. Because if we talk about the bad guys, and that's obvious that we're the good guys. Look, we're talking about consciousness and evolution and extraterrestrials. And you resonate with some channelers and the information that's in. You can't say anything bad about crystals and Reiki and chakras and meditation and yoga. No. Western spirituality exists to sell in the platform for the New Age agenda. Why do you have a New Age based upon a relationship to so-called love and light and the spirit when the old age was already there? It's already manifested energetically into the very essence of who and what we are, obviously. This is a program. And we are being manipulated by every angle to believe in this program. Monkey mind, Hollywood, worship, bring you up, bring you down. Bring them up, bring you down. Bring everything, good guy, bad guy. You can't have kings and queens unless you have people who think they're animals to worship the kings and queens. This is why you have animals, cats and dogs in your houses. People make you believe this stuff. You have Morgan Freeman in here talking about the university system as a professor, like all this other stuff, talking about the mind. You believe this. Why? Because you believe Morgan Freeman's voice. The vibration of the materialistic realm who is selling another storyline. You buy into these programs because you have a smartphone, smart meter, smart water, smart technology, smart TV, smart gun. The smartness of that program only exists to make you feel dumb, to de-evolve you, and you celebrate it, to bring the energy down, constantly de-evolving the masses, telling you that it's evolving you. The only way you can evolve into this would be an evolution, is if you believe this is your reality. You believe that you are of a monkey. So if you come from an alien, or if you come from a monkey to a smartphone human, then the obvious next step is a smartphone installed in the human. The same way they sell you a flip phone from the Zach Morris phone and the iPhone from a flip phone. It's the same thing. This is an alchemy. It's an intellectual bridge. You have a bridge between the mind and the soul, just as you have a bridge between the body and the mind. And the gatekeepers of these realms work hand in hand with the mind control program as a whole. And it's about bringing one version of reality up and bringing other versions of reality down, lowering your vibrations. This is not universal. This Greco-Roman version of reality, this LGBT gay agenda, all this stuff, this is based upon the Greco-Roman version of civilization. That's not universal. It's being sold to you as universal in order for you to believe in it from a lower vibrating situation, bringing you up, bringing you down. Bill Gates comes out with Windows, Microsoft, computers, all this stuff, thinking bringing you up, bringing you down, installing these things that paralyze people in India with the polio vaccine, taking people out on a regular basis, building you up, building you down. Einstein, worshipping of the physical reality. locked into the so-called logical. They put these people in your face. This was a choice, a calculated choice to choose to go into the information that was spoken of by Einstein and not Tesla, by Edison and not Tesla, in order to control the masses. The same reason why Martin Luther King and Malcolm X was taken out. It's a purpose, energetic purposes. Bring people up, bring people down. Elon Musk is out there to confuse you, to tell you that it's about going to the stars, going to Mars, going to the moon, with the technology that is the amplification of the monkey mind, the smartphone technology. But he's out there to set the foundation to transhumanism by installing the illusion of simulationism, the simulation theory, which is the foundation to transhumanism, which is basically meaning that everything that we're experiencing right now is the result of a computer program, and that each individual is just a floppy disk, a hard drive that exists, is experiencing its reality, and that really just needs an upgrade. So who's going to provide the upgrade if you're just a robot, if you're just a computer? Obviously the system. That's what the transhumanism program is about. That's what this is about. You go from this to this. You believe in this guy who's talking about simulation theory. Then you believe in putting your phone, because you don't want to carry a phone around. Obviously, you don't want to carry a big-ass brick phone like Zach Morris and Saved by the Bell. You want to install it in your body. And as long as they make it cool and mainstream, you'll buy it. So they build these characters up for you to buy this shit. Just as the Mandela effect is happening out there, and CERN just conveniently happens to be right there in the space and saying, oh, well, we did it. We've been crashing particles since the 50s. Energetically. What the fuck does CERN have in relation to the energy that the human consciousness has when you have 7 billion human souls, 7 billion bodies walking around? Energetically. You really think a 17-mile circle crashing particles together has anything, can shake a fucking stick at the essence of the human relationship to every plane of existence? They'll tell you that, though, to make you believe it. And you'll believe it because you watch Stargate, because you watch Farscape, because you listen to Elon Musk, because you watch all these other TV shows. You believe in this shit. You believe in the alien agenda because you watch Ancient Aliens. You'll believe in the Anunnaki story because you read Zecharia Sitchin's books and Eric Von Daniken. And if they put it on Ancient Aliens and they got David Wilcock doing it, and you went to one of his seminars and you believe his shit, and he's connected to another person that said, don't you think this is a very intricate story? They're making you believe this shit. This is all the New Age agenda. The new Savior program. Believe in this program. Believe in your Savior. Believe in that which will be the new. Because the old is primitive and savage. The old is out. And the new is in. This is all at the expense of your babies. Your very genetic. Your genetics. This is why they're genetically modifying the food and fluoridating the water. So if your stomach brain has a pineal gland, which is your solar plexus chakra, it is being fluoridated by this water, and your fire and your willpower is being dampened out when you don't have a relationship and an understanding of your natural root connection. You don't have a natural connection to your relationships. Everything is synthetic. Your connection to your family is about Christmas and Thanksgiving. That's a synthetic relationship to your earth essence. Your relationship to your boyfriend or girlfriend is synthetic because you're just attracted to their picture on Match.com or eHarmony. This is synthetic. Your connection to your purpose and your meaning in your solar plexus is synthetic because you channel that energy into the American dream. It's synthetic. It's the artificial version of reality. The amplification of the destructive intelligence, the separation program. The separation from the understanding of who and what you are on every level, and the amplification of the synthetic version of who and what you are. You are a number, cataloged. You might as well have these dollar bill numbers, your social security number, tattooed on your forehead. You are already in a concentration camp. The fiat currency system and the maritime admiralty system, the globe model agenda, the technology program, this is a concentration camp. You are already existing in the enslavement program. Slavery never ended. They expanded it. They changed the name. Everything expanded itself. There's a reason why you feel a certain way about what happens in Paris and what happens to the LGBT community in reference to what happens in Nigeria, Kenya, Papua New Guinea, and Haiti. There's a reason why, and it exists energetically on your soul level, on your mind level, and in your body. The emotional body is the bridge. It exists as the bridge between the mind and the body and the soul and the mind. There's a bridge between the soul and the mind and the body that exists there. And your emotional body exists on both of those bridges and within the mind complex. This is why everything that's being sold to you is being sold to you emotionally. This is why you have so-called supermodels eating a bacon cheeseburger on a Super Bowl commercial. Because they're playing with your sexual, your animalistic desires to sell you an animalistic reality. Emotionally, you want to buy that shit. You'll end up in a drive-thru, in a Carl's Jr. drive-thru in a heartbeat, not even know why. This is not new. This is happening. It's only being seen for what it is now, even more so because people have more access to information through technology, through social media. And then people worship that, oh, they gave us technology and social media, so we have to keep believing the system. They're okay. They're good people. No. This energy has zero essence of compassion and empathy or connection to who and what you are. It means to protect only itself at the expense of you. These so-called powers that be will throw you under the bus in a heartbeat. In fact, they already did. They've been doing it to generations upon all of your generations. And the people today are still defending it because their emotional bodies are tied into it on the external plane and on the eternal plane. And don't know why. And don't even know that they're doing it. So when I talk about the genocide and massacres of the billions and billions of people, the intent there, the trend, the obvious superiority colonial program on the black and brown peoples on the planet, or the earth plane, there's always somebody who talks about the Irish people were enslaved. Some people in Russia were enslaved. Obviously. They can't be obvious about this. But when you say that, you're talking about pennies in reference to billions of dollars. Because people only understand things in dollars. You're talking about $2 in reference to the billion-dollar bank account of enslavement, of genocide, of massacre. There's an intent there, not to discredit or take away from those few dollars of people that got enslaved and massacred. I'm not taking away. What I'm saying is that there's an essence, there's an intention why the billion-dollar program exists of massacre and genocide. And it goes down to your very essence. Of course it's going to be other people that be enslaved and all that other stuff. But when you see a trend that exists on the collective space, then you have to start asking why. And then when you start figuring out those questions and answers of why, then you'll start to see a deeper program that exists. And the only way this can exist actively in your reality is if you are not only not aware of it, which is why they teach you a certain version of history and never tell you our story, but they also have to have you worshiping this program. This is why you have Columbus Day. This is why you have Christmas. This is why you have Easter. This is why you have Halloween and the upside down backwards versions of connecting to Dia de los Muertos. These are the upside down backwards versions of connection to your true energetic time grids. These are time codes. Your years are sucked down by holidays, just like your week is sucked down by weekdays, work days, and the weekend. Working for like all the working for the weekend, working for a living, all this stuff. You dance this shit into your reality. This is an alchemy. You have to love this shit. The program of the Supremacy Program to protect itself. If you want to go into the details of why, look into Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Look into the reasons of the genetics. Start asking your own questions of why things are the way they are, down to our very body. How that exists in the mind, how that exists in the soul, where that came from. Because the people behind the scenes, they know about this stuff. They know how and why. They're not going to tell you whether you're white or they're not going to tell you if you're black especially, but they sure as hell ain't going to tell you if you're white too, because then you exist. Your death certificate makes money for the system. Your birth certificate makes money for a system. That is a stock market bond. You are bonded, locked into the vaults of the state. The people who wear these hoods and who believe in this, there's a system, there's a reason why they do this and teach their kids this. And they didn't exist. This hood and dress only changed into a suit and tie. The only way they could take this hood off is if they activated this enslavement program on a collective scale and started to turn it into something lighter. Love and light. Only to make you believe in it. Simultaneously bringing itself up and constantly bringing you down. Every fucking moment of the day, you are bombarded by these energies of hatred, low vibrations. Hate yourself. Can't even get out of those low vibrations. These animalistic behavior. These lower vibrating frequencies. Less than the human frequency. Less even a lot of times than the animal frequencies. People, human beings, do some things even animals won't do. You think that doesn't exist energetically? It does. It manifests in the mind first. And before it gets to the mind, it manifests in the soul. And for it to manifest into the body, it has to go through all these layers. And if something like that exists in one group of people and doesn't exist in another group of people, you have to start asking yourself why. And see how that exists in everything else. And then start to disassemble the separation program that you have within yourself, because there's a reason why you are not allowed to understand the gold that is in your genetic makeup. The gold that is in the balance and the harmonic frequencies of who and what you are. Energetically, there's a purpose there. All of this is known by the so-called powers that be behind the scenes to separate you from the understanding that, to maintain the haves and the have-nots, to keep you out of balance, to keep you from understanding your water element, your air element, your earth element, your fire element, your light body, your etheric body. Understanding how we exist in this material realm and what that material realm's relationship is to alchemy, is to the experience as a whole. As long as you are out of balance, you can be controlled. As long as you are in lower frequencies, lower energies, you can be controlled. You can have the haves and the have-nots. You can have a supremacy program. Once we start balancing and understand our natural connections outside of the normalization program, that will start to disassemble this separation program as a whole. But if we allow ourselves to get caught up in stuff like the New Age agenda, the transhumanism agenda, the globe model, the university system, the American dream, everything that is part of the materialistic realm, then we will be buying into a program of separation, a program of materialization. The material version of reality, the materialistic version of reality, is the dense vibrating version of light. So a further expansion of that is the transhumanism program. When you worship that reality, you are worshiping an illusion. You are de-evolving yourself. You are bringing yourself into a lower vibration. And that does exist on every plane of existence. So when we lock ourselves into these realities, when we lock ourselves into these lower vibrating frequencies and start to worship this reality instead of understanding it and then challenging ourselves to understand it and overstand it, then we are missing out on our meaning and our purpose. We are willingly throwing ourselves out of balance. We are doing it to ourselves. We are doing it on purpose. And this is not a judgment on a people. This is an observation of energy that exists on the body level, on the mind, and on the soul, to throw out the questions of why, so we can understand. Because once we start to understand, that's when everybody becomes balanced. So that's basically it. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, from all my relations, peace, love, and harmony.